Yes, good afternoon and top of the day to everyone, all UNIBEN families across the world, and of course, friends of University of Benin. This is the University of Benin Alumni Association United Kingdom branch organized student institution engagement. It is the third edition, and of course, the theme of this edition is navigating the terrain. We are very privileged to have, as part of the discussant, the Vice Chancellor of University of Benin, who is going to actually, take us through aspects of this program. Her name is Professor Lilian Salami, and of course, a host of others. My name is Comrade Lante Momusa Oriaki, and I'm privileged and honored to collaborate with the Alumni Association of University of Benin UK branch to bring this program live. This program is running on Zoom, and of course, we are equally running on Facebook and on YouTube, which means that beyond the Zoom house, we have the entire world participating in this program. It is my honor at this time to bring to you Dr. Stephen Obeki, who is going to take us through all the arrangements as far as this program is concerned. Dr. Obeki, over to you, please.
Thank you very much, Comrade Lapte Oriaki. Thank you for the introduction. I want to welcome everybody to this third edition of the Student Institution Engagement Symposium, organized by the University of Benin Alumni Association, United Kingdom. This is actually the third edition. We have a program. So this is a Zoom meeting. We may not be able to distribute everything to everybody, but we have a program which I would like to quickly run through before I will do the introduction of the special personalities at this occasion. One, the opening formality has been done by Comrade Lamti Oriahi. We have done the national anthem. Then the second item on the program is the introduction of organizers and speakers. With that one, I will do shortly. Then after that, opening remark by the president of the University of Benin Alumni Association, United Kingdom. That is the person of Dr. Loretta Oboro Oko. After the president's opening remarks, Madam Vice Chancellor, the Vice Chancellor of the University of Benin, Professor Lilian Salami, will give a brief remark or address. Then after that, we come to the lecture proper. And the first man to take the podium today is Reverend Father Professor Omonokwa. He is good. Then to be followed by lecture by the Dean of Students. And after that, remarks on institutional communication to avoid conflict by the University of Benin PRO. Then we'll now come to the interactive session to question and answer to be anchored by Dr. Loretta Oboro. After that, we have remarks by the Student Union President, the University of Benin Student Union President, before we come to the vote of thanks by the UBAUC Assistant Secretary General. Those are the items on the program for today. So after that, let me quickly now go to the introduction, which is item number 2 on the program. Introduction. It is my singular pleasure and to introduce the following special personalities that are on this program today. Number 1 on the list is our own Vice Chancellor, the great Vice Chancellor of the University of Benin, Professor Lilian Salami. She is actually the chief discussant for this event. Please give her a big round of applause. Then we also have Reverend Father Professor Cornelius Omohua. He's the Executive Secretary, Nigeria Interreligious Council. He's also a discussant on this program. Third on the list is Professor Patrick Igbinadua, the Dean of Students of the University of Benin, Benin City. He's a discussant on this program. Then we have Comrade Egu Benjamin Lutana, the President of the Student Union Government of the University of Benin, Benin City. It's a discussant too on the program. We also have the number 6 people here. They are all the students of the University of Benin. They are the target audience and contributors to this program. Those are the key people that we have that will participate, that to be speaking on this program today. You know, it's actually a Zoom meeting. The whole world is watching.
Dr. Becky, are you not giving me out?
No,
Dr. Becky.
There we. I'm sorry. Dr. Miss Benedita Hanire, Population Officer, University of Benin, Benin City. She's also a discussant on this program. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. At this point,
thank you very much, sir. At this point, to honor the formalities, we must, as a matter of national security, and play the anthem of University of Benin, the Great UNIBEN.
Yes. Thank you very much.
Are we back on?
You stay from transfer.
Let's go check it. Are we back?
Great UNIBEN.
Greatest.
Greatest of the greatest of the greatest UNIBEN.
Greatest.
Great.
The program. Over to you, sir. Dr. Loretta, I think you can take the floor now.
It is with singular privilege that I want to welcome every one of us here today. And I stand on all the protocol already established by Dr. Stephen Obeki. I want to just thank us and say that when we are not speaking, if we can please remember to mute ourselves so that we don't interrupt the proceedings. I cannot thank the Vice Chancellor enough. I cannot thank the PRO enough. I cannot thank the Dean of Students enough. And I cannot thank the Alumni Liaison enough. I cannot thank all those who have worked hard to get this done enough, especially the students as well, and the SUG president. It has been the culture of the University of Benin Alumni Association UK branch to every year do a student institution engagement. And last year, we were not able to do it because of COVID. We have taught over time that communication and a lack of it sometimes, or a skewness of it sometimes, is often the problem why we have conflict. And for this edition, we thought of no less a personality to bring on board to come and help us discuss the issues of communicating for effectiveness and for moving forward as a team from different parties than Professor Reverend Father Cornelius Afebua Omonohua. Just before we go into the proceedings, I will just say that the University of Benin Alumni Association UK branch has never rested on its oars in engaging with the institution, the management, and the students. We have been involved in several programs and projects. The London branch, the London chapter of the branch is blazing the trail. I'm sure the Dean of Students is aware of certain scholarship they plan to give very soon. First as a branch, And then the branch chairman, Douglas Ogbebo, as an individual who finished from chemistry, is determined to reward the best student in chemistry. One of the people from that chapter, Constant Oseki, has over the years pursued a very big power project that will favor not just UNIBEN students, but institutions around UNIBEN. And I must thank our current Vice Chancellor because she's seen that that project comes to actualization after many years. We have the likes of Chief Aloysius, who have donated a 60-foot container of books to the University of Benin. And those books spilled into other schools within the state. And the governor has been updated about this as well. We cannot stop also without not mentioning people like Douglas Oko, who every year reward the best graduating student in the Faculty of Medicine in surgery. And also now they've added on the best mentor and lecturer with a brand new laptop and the sum of £200. I always say, and I maintain it, that institutions are only as strong as their alumni. And I will rest here for now and let the event proceed while we think about that statement. Thank you very much, everybody.
Dr. Oseki can actually take us into the next phase of the program now.
Dr. Becky, you need to unmute yourself,
Dr.
sir.
Becky, sorry.
Exactly.
Dr. Stephen Obeki.
Thank you very much.
It's not okay.
Yeah, I'm okay now. I'm okay. First and foremost, I want to thank Dr. Loretta Oko for that opening remarks. That was good. She's the president of UBAC and the convener. At this stage, we would like to go over quickly to the Vice Chancellor's address. Madam Vice Chancellor, ma'am.
Thank you very much, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. It's always a pleasure to be with you. Indeed, I am so elated that I am joining this virtual platform. This is indeed a laudable gesture that will help in aggravating the collective desires of both management and students while preferring ways of achieving institutional goals of teaching, learning, research, and community support in peaceful and rancor-free environment. I must at this juncture really appreciate the role that Alumni Association has and will continue to play in the University of Benin. When I came on as the #1 citizen of this university, I actually did mention that for any institution to succeed, bearing in mind also our peculiarity in terms of the universities, public funded universities, which of course University of Benin is one of, that our survival truly depends on the much that we can get from our alumni association, who for one reason or the other feel, and I hope rightfully so, that they needed or they need to come back to pay back dues for the institution that actually laid their foundation. So in essence, whoever you are today, whoever and what position you hold today, if the foundation hasn't been properly laid by the University of Benin, we probably will be talking of a meringue that may never come to fruitfulness. So I want to applaud you that you remember that your alma mater is where you need to focus, and you have done that very well. And we hope and pray that you will continue to do that. Where again, as this platform that we are using to build ideas, to curate ideas, so that we can continue to remain the institution, the citadel of higher learning that we proudly always call the universe of the universe. That can only continue if we continue to get the kind of support that we are getting, and we pray that Almighty God will continue to enable you. As a mentorship ground for our students, this forum provides also opportunity to for the students to interface with ex-students of the university residing in the United Kingdom. As mentors, the former students are in a position to share their experiences on the best things that can be achieved only when there is peace and tranquility in the university campuses. Management is not unmindful of the fact that the students have different needs and personalities. This Ms. Grill propelled through the students' representative
I think we may have had a technical glitch.
Yeah.
We just hold on for a few minutes. It probably will rectify itself.
Maybe the VC can be practically removed so that she can log back in again.
I think she's back.
Sorry, it appears we're having problems with our network. I hope it will get better. So let me quickly go back, and I'm sure that is where we lost that. I commend the leadership of the entire members of the University of Benin Alumni Association, United Kingdom branch, under the able leadership of Dr. Laurietta Ogboro Oko, for your continued support towards the development of your alma mater. Since the inception of this administration under my leadership, we have prioritized our relationship with the alumni body because we understand that the quality of the alumni is directly proportional to the quality of the institution. Unofficially, I have received information that the branch would award scholarship to some of our dear students. We will be glad if such gesture is confirmed here today. Finally, I'd like to commend all those who are going to contribute to this discourse, and also the choice of the discussant, because they are persons of proven integrity and leadership voice. I am sure that it will be fulfilling and objective of the peaceful university campus when this comes to an end. I also must, at this juncture, also commend the leadership of the Student Union of the University of Benin. Well, like it is, sometimes you have to quarrel before you settle. We have had a little bit of that, but I am sure that we are better off now, that we better understand ourselves, and I'm sure that this will continue so that the University of Benin will truly emerge as the university of the universe. Thank you so very much for listening, and God bless you.
Thank you very much. That was Madam Vice Chancellor of the University of Benin, Professor Lillian Salami, giving us her opening address. Thank you, Madam Vice Chancellor. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Yes.
Thank you. At this juncture, before we go over to navigating the terrain of student institution engagement, I would like to give a big background information to support what the president of UBAC has just said during our opening remarks. The University of Benin Alumni Association United Kingdom initiated the annual student institution engagement in 2017 as a key driver for change and orientation for students to embrace engagement and dialogue instead of violence and aggression in presenting and resolving issues in the university. The symposium is to provide students with opportunity for developmental interactive sessions with selected alumni, principal officers, and notable figures in the society. The first edition of the program took place in 2018. Then the second one held in 2019. The third one, which will have held in 2020, could not hold because of the COVID-19 pandemic. And that is why we are having the third edition today in 2021. We have 4 discussants of this program. Like I said earlier, Reverend Father Professor Cornelius Omokwa, Professor Patrick Igbinadua, the Dean of Students of the University of Benin, Dr. Mrs. Benedicta Ehanire, the Public Relations Officer of the University of Benin, then Comrade Egu Benjamin Lotana, President of the Student Union Government. They are all discussants on this program. But the chief discussant is the Vice Chancellor of the University of Benin, Professor Ms. Lina Salami. At this point, we would like to call on Reverend Father Professor Omokwa to start the discussion on navigating the terrain on student-institution engagement. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much for this invitation. My topic from the program is student institutional engagement, bridging the gap to achieve institutionalized goals. I hope I'm on course. Are you hearing me?
Yes,
sir. You are on course.
Thank you very much. And I want to start by thanking my very sweet, amiable, and beautiful sister, Dr. Loretta, for inviting me for this wonderful conversation. Well, as we go along, you will know that Loretta and Douglas are great alumni of the great UNIBEN. The University of Benin was founded in 1970. You know, I don't intend to teach you what you know better than me, but please, this is going to form a basis for my conversation. It started as an institute of technology and was accorded the status of a full-fledged university by National Universities Commission, NUC, on the 1st July 1971. In his budget speech in April 1972, the then military governor of Midwestern States, Colonel Samuel Osagbovo Ogbemudia, then also a visitor to the university, formally announced the change of the name of the Institute of Technology to the University of Benin on 1st April 1975. The university, at the request of the state government, was taken over by the federal government and became a federal university. Today, the university has continued to grow from strength to strength with a number of faculties, departments, institutes, and units. Following NUC directives, the university experimented with the collegiate system in 1991 through 1992, at 1992-1993. The first Vice Chancellor of University of Benin was Osayuki Godwin Oshodi, Professor of Health Education. UNIBEN had the first female Vice Chancellor in the person of Grace Alele Williams, an educator who made history as the first Nigeria female university, the Vice Chancellor. This foundation has become unshakable, such that today we have our sister, Professor Lillian Imwetinya Salami, as another female incumbent Vice Chancellor. We can begin this conversation, beginning the gap to achieve institutionalized goals with the motto of Great UNIBEN, which is knowledge for service. So when the University of Benin was founded, education was not very expensive, like we today have in the private universities. Yet the graduates were proud to be alumni of UNIBEN that has produced professionals in all disciplines. The government in the 70s subsidized education such that a UNIBEN student could support his or her siblings from bursary. And I can say this authoritatively because my elder brother, Charles Omonokwa, is a product of UNIBEN. He used to give me money as a student from his bursary. Then a university student could give a ticket to a visitor to eat at the cafeteria. I don't know, visit, you still have cafeteria? I used to visit my brothers in the university to eat with them. Then only first class student and second class upper division were admitted into piracy. Piracy was not a secret court at that time. Still remember, Wole Soyinka started piracy. Then students were trained to be authors, like Dr. Loretta. You still remember that great book? That's a topic for another day. Some of the alumni of the great UNIBEN started publishing books when they were students. Then a student could defend his or her projects. I have relatives and friends who are graduates from this university and many other universities. And coincidentally, I was a lecturer in Ambrose Ali University. I was teaching them Africa eschatology. I am a beneficiary of a UNIBEN alumnus or alumni. Alumnus singular, alumni plural, who is a neurosurgeon, Dr. Douglas Emeka Oko, who performed a spine surgery on me on the 27th of January this year. So I can say that UNIBEN is actually great. And of course, I was one of those who also, what do I call it now? I reviewed the book, My Father's Daughter by Lorenta. And I'm waiting for the next book, My Mother's Daughter. But if you cannot write it, I think Hinari can write My Mother's Son. Dr. Douglas, his wife who invited me here today, Loretta, I am saying thank you very much. So what went wrong then? If we have these great men from UNIBEN, what went wrong? Are we still keeping the standards? Where lies the gap in this terrain? Assessing the graduates of this new dispensation, a few questions comes to mind, but I pray that these questions don't affect UNIBEN. My people have a say, or a demon. That is to other people. How has the gap between 70s and now been managed? Were we able to keep the tempo? Why is it that the young graduates can no longer write or defend their certificates? I call a student, a graduate who wanted me to give a payment, and I asked, please, can I have your bibliography? He said, what is the meaning of that? I said, you didn't do methodology in the university? He said, no. I said, did you do any references? I don't know. Father, let me tell you the truth. My supervisor wrote the thesis for me. This is happening in some of our universities. I don't know about Benin. Why should a lady pass out with high grades just by sleeping with a lecturer? May this not happen in UNIBEN, because Loretta has told us its challenges in our book. Why is government no longer interested in 4D education? What happened to our cafeterias? What happened to the bursary? Why is government, what happens to the budget for the welfare of lecturers outside the regular salary? Who created the gap that is now producing graduates who do not know their left from their rights? These questions imply that things have fallen apart in the educational system. There is a serious lacuna or gap in the context of our conversation that calls for serious nexus to achieve the initial vision, mission, and goal of tertiary institutions. In this conversation, we are seeking the means to bridge the gap to achieve institutionalized goals. And what are these goals? These goals are not different from the purpose for life on earth. God created human beings in love and commanded that human beings should love one another. With due apology to the gynecologists and the midwives here, traditionally, we believe that when a child is born, he comes with closed fists. And that child will not be picked up until the child cries. and the child cries in Esako language, ule, 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 ule. Ule means do you know, which means knowledge. Then the second cry is in English. Surprise, 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 surprise. In other words, we came into this world with latent potentialis. That what you are going to be, God has already ordained it for you. Because God has already ordained it for you, it means that you need the environment, you need a family, you need an institution to help you realize or actualize your latent potentialis. But in our context, what can the university environment do for a child to be fully alive? To a child who is created to be a surgeon, not to be a vagabond on the street. This calls for peaceful coexistence. So God created human beings in love and commanded that being human beings, we should love one another. This love is couched in service to God and humanity. Every child is born with a talent. Each of us is endowed with a unique gift. The actualization of this potential depends on all of us. This formative aspect, and this is why lecturers in the Catholic seminaries, they are not just called lecturers, they are called formators. Because lecturers in the university is not enough for you to just to come to class and impart knowledge. You have to form the child. You have to make the child realize that it's not born to be useless. So this formative aspect, for a child to grow up, you need the environment. So the formative aspect of education calls for peaceful coexistence between students, lecturers, and university administrators. In our seminary days, the rector knows every student by name. The university community is different, however, in terms of size and population. However, the vice chancellor, I know, cannot know every student, but could develop a system and structure for monitoring and evaluation, and this should be done in tenderness and love. We cannot rule out the fact that even the universities in Nigeria have ethnic and religious pluralism in a world where the value and dignity of the human person has been sacrificed on the altar of religious fanaticism and intolerance. Ethnic and religious discrimination exists in some universities, hence the need for dialogue and peace building. So every university needs a conducive environment for learning. This means that the university should be devoid of instruments of death like cultism. The youth who were born and have lived in the present situation of Nigeria, where human beings have become woes to their fellow human beings, will think that this is normal and therefore need to learn the act of tolerance to promote peaceful coexistence. Given that the state of anarchy we today find ourselves is not the design of God, we need to form the student to know the value and dignity of the human person. The Catholic Catechism gives the mission and vision of life, first by establishing the fact that we are created by God. God made us to know him, love him, and serve him. The goal and ultimate vision for creation is that the human person should be happy with God on the last day, then and be happy and on earth in a secure environment, in an environment where your lecturer can be a father to you, where your lecturer will pray for you and not praying on you by extorting your money or extorting your body. In the narrative of Adam, humanity in the Holy Bible at Quran has a high dignity. That is why God told the angel to bow to Adam, that is humanity. So it is my prayer that we should allow our students or encourage our students to fly. I believe I can fly. I believe I can touch the star. I can tell you, I know the time is going out, that I was not born with first-class intelligence, but it is the environment of Our Lady of Fatima at the seminary that made me who I am today. It is my prayer that whoever enters the University of Benin will come out beating the chest that I am what I am today, I am who I am today because of my relationship with the Vice Chancellor, with my Dean, with my HOD, with my other fellow students. And so we keep flying higher and higher, the glory of God. Thank you very much. Then the gap will be bridged. And may this gap be bridged and be bridged for good. Thank
you. Amen. Thank you very much, Father Professor Collinus Omokwa. You have said so much. We are grateful to you for kicking up this institutional engagement. Reverend Father has spoken so much about and asked several questions about the gap between the 1970 when UNIBEN was established and today, 2021. He has mentioned so many things that were there in those days and that are no longer here now with us. And what can we do to bridge the gap? Father Omokwa, thank you very much for what you have said. I think, Loretta, please. Some people may have questions for Reverend Father Professor. I think maybe others can take their discussion before we go ahead.
Thank you, Dr. Obeki. I think we should just run through all the discussions. If they have anything to say,
they should know the question.
And then the students will engage for longer. Yes.
It's okay.
So if you just call the next person, sir. Thank you very much, Father.
You're welcome.
Okay. Thank you very much. So at this point, harmonization of staff-student relationship, institutional harmonization of staff-student relationship to be taken by the Dean of Students of the University of Benin, Professor Patrick Ibinadua. Professor Patrick, please.
Good afternoon, all participants. I want to thank you for giving me the honor to be one of the discussants at this forum. I've been asked to speak on institutional harmonization of staff-student relationship. I think I'll probably share my write-up with you so it becomes easier for everyone to follow what I've put on so far.
Technical chief host,
okay.
Mr.
Okay.
Oriahi.
I can't share my slide with you, so I'll just go ahead to speak.
No, he will make you
I'll just go ahead to speak.
Prof, you've been made a co-host.
Okay, except you make me a co-host, sorry.
Yes, sir, he's done that.
I didn't get that permission before now. Let me take it from here. I've been asked to speak on institutional harmonization of staff students. Let me see, just share my slide with you. So we can just follow. And okay, I think we can all see my slide now. Now, institutional harmonization of staff-student relationship can be better appreciated when we look at the key terms in the definition that which are institutional harmonization and relationship. I would say institutional have to do with the place where we look after people, or people are looked after where they are head. Harmonization have to do with making people or plans or situations suitable for each other, and involves on those areas which are complementary to them, working on those areas which are complementary to people, and then working on it together, everyone to achieve strategic objective. Now, harmonization help us, the different departments, in work together and optimize the resources at their disposal. One of the simple ways we can easily understand the significance of harmonization is looking at the common disease AIDS. One of the etiology that is normally propounded is that it simply is the destruction of the what we call the T4 cells, CD4 cells. In other words, the orchestral system of the immune system, which is supposed to coordinate, bring harmony. It's just like the orchestra to the different tones that everyone is singing. But when it is distorted, what happens? Everyone sings differently, and then we are no longer able to bring a band that create that harmony that is important in music. In the disease HIV/AIDS, that's exactly what has happened. The immune system of fighting together. Even the smallest of disease is able to have effect on the person, or you'll be able to even to Hello?
Hello, Prof. We can hear you now, sir.
Okay, sorry, I was temporarily cut off.
Yes,
sorry. So I was just saying that harmony is important for coordination, for us to achieve a set of objectives and making everyone to work together to achieve a particular goal. And I highlighted because in a staff-student relationship, it helps to be able to create a trajectory of improving the academic success and social development of the students. It creates a positive relationship between the staff and the students, which is very important in the student classroom environment, all do intelligence and emotional well-being. Now, from my experience in the university, we'll bring out about 5 key areas that are very important that require this harmony, that they want us to look at today. Number 1, respect for the leadership structure of the union by all members of the union. One of the issues, and when you do not respect your leaders, anarchy is bound to breed itself. In a situation where a group of students, without recourse to the rules or regulations, just take over the leadership of the union, which they have not been empowered to do, that creates anarchy. And we need to be able to have a situation where we encourage union leadership and teach the students to be able to respect their the concept.
I think we've experienced another technical glitch from the Dean of Students. I will be back soon.
I think I'm back again.
Okay, excellent, excellent.
I'm sorry, I'm trying to work on it. It just went off. Okay, I was talking respect for the leadership structure of the unions. All members of the union must be made to respect the leadership structure of the union. That's the beginning. Because when you don't respect the leaders, you don't, you're going to have serious problem. And that is one of the major problems in University of Benin student union structure. Secondly, the leaders must understand the negotiation process. That you don't begin when there's no society that does not have challenges. There's no society that does not have its own share of challenges. But the important thing is that when challenges occur, you are able to consult, you are able to discuss issues and come up with solutions. Societies are known for the solutions that they are able to bring on board. So come up with solutions, ideas that can solve the problems of the day. So it's not once there's a challenge, you just run and start running down things, pulling down people, consulting, finding out why do we have this challenge? What can we do to be able to ameliorate this challenge that we are faced with? Who can help us, like the alumni body coming to we are interacting with? Who are these different stakeholders that we can liaise with, that can be of help to solving the particular challenge that we have? So the state need to understand this negotiation process and things that they can do. That as you can't do everything, even there are some things you can do, you are not authorized to do everything. There are limits that you reach to. So once there are issues, understand what you can do, understand your limitations, and work within the boundaries that you have. I always say that there's nothing like absolute freedom. There's nothing like absolute freedom or absolute power. Everyone have limitations and boundaries that have been given to us, within which and the space within which we are to operate. And we must understand our limitations. Limitations in terms of finances. You just want to do a major project that can never see the light of day. The power that we have.
We are sorry for the technical itch. I'm sure to be resolved soon.
If it takes longer, we may proceed to the next speaker and he can conclude when he comes back on. Oh, he's
Okay.
back. He's back.
Okay.
Back again. Sorry. I think I'm back again. Sorry. Just quickly run is good. Regulations, our relationship with one another. Are you hearing me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, you can hear me.
We can hear you now.
If you can hear me, okay, let me just round up. I was talking about student management responsibility.
Sir, you may want to turn off your camera.
We should not, as students, want to
save your bandwidth so that you can keep speaking for longer.
Okay.
You may want to turn off your camera. It may help, sir. We know it's you now.
Okay.
Ideally, we want to see you, but because of the network glitches in Nigeria, if you turn off your camera, it may save some bandwidth. Thank you, sir.
Hello, are you hearing me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Let me just round up. I was saying that as a student, you do not want to take over the role of management. We all have our role. We all have our responsibility. Allow managers to do their work while as students confine ourselves to the same space. The fourth thing is student and social media usage. Student and social media usage. One of the biggest problems we have had is the inappropriate use of social media. Posting of unauthorized materials in the internet without authorization, and forwarding of unverified posts. You don't see a post on the social media, you just go ahead and forward it without verifying, without finding out whether what you have posted is true or false. And lastly, effective communication between the student leaders and management. Students should effectively communicate all activities they are involved in with management. This crisis period before opening communication. Communication must be continuous and consistent. And they must learn the art of communication and negotiation, and between management and the students can easily be attained, and we'll all be able to work together. These are just a few areas I've been able to think we need to look at as we discuss today. Thank you very much. God bless.
Thank you very much. Dr. Becky, you want to call the next person, sir? Okay, I think Dr. Becky's Zoom is frozen. So in the interim, I want to thank our Dean of Students for what he has said. I have put a bit of summary of what each person is saying into the chats. Thank you very much. You have made key points. We'll call on our own very big sister, the University of Benin PRO. If she can just say a sentence or two before we go into the question time from the students. Our big sister, Mrs. Benedicta Ehanire, University of Benin PRO, please.
Well, thank you very much. First, let me
say good afternoon to Madam Vice Chancellor and to you, Dr. Loretta, the convener. You had asked me to speak about the institutional communication to avoid conflict. I understand now that there is hardly time to go the full hog, so I'll just say a few words as you have asked me to. The first thing to acknowledge is the fact that communication is exchange of information or ideas, and that there are two ways by which communication could take place. It can either be downward or upward. In this instance, we are looking at the three entities in the institution, this time the University of Benin, the management led by the Vice Chancellor, the staff represented by the unions, the students represented by their own union as well. So it is not all the time that communication must come from the top. Sometimes when you are unclear about certain things that you need clarification about, you can initiate, that's the students, the staff, you can initiate the process of communication. Let us also put on record that this Vice Chancellor, in the person of Professor Lillian Salami, places a lot of premium on effective communication. Her See Something, Say Something initiative, which is her direct brainchild, is expected to achieve that purpose, giving us or providing for everyone a feedback mechanism by which whatever is at stake, whatever issues are troubling people's minds, you can easily reach out to management and solutions will be sought and achieved. I think I would like to stop there so you can go on. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ma. I think we have Dr. Becky back in the house. Yes.
Yes. Thank you very much. That was the University of Benin Public Relations Officer, Dr. Benedicta Ehanire, speaking on institutional communication to avoid conflict. I think we can go ahead to the next discussant.
Okay, so I think the next part of the program is the most important one. And I want to thank the PRO. She has succinctly summarized what is key in all of this. And I was just typing this onto the chat. We have the students who are very well represented in a hall within the university. And we have the students, SUG lead with them as well at this time. We will be starting the interactive session where their questions can be taken. Lotana Ugu, I don't know how far away people are from the microphones, but you will have a chance to say something at the end of this. So what is going to happen is when we take the first question, any of our people can decide to take it. It can be from the Vice Chancellor, it can be the PRO, it can be the Dean of Students, it can be Professor Monohua, or if you wish to direct it to somebody, it is okay. So please, Lofana, from your team of the students there, get the first two people in line who are going to ask the question and prepare the next two.
All right, thank you very much. Good afternoon, all.
Good afternoon.
With me here in Faculty of Engineering, I have a group of students who are viewing from this center. I have the first student to ask question, Yai Victory. It's connected. Please, let's have him.
Yai Victory, you can ask your question.
Everybody, my question is, we're talking about student communication and student communication between management and students. And what I want to say is that on a lot of things, student angle, this should be reason for student angles. Not the Vice Chancellor doing everything possible and managing and doing everything to make sure that the university is in this condition. But nevertheless, what I want to say is that
EIE Victory, we are losing your audio, not you. If you just look down and speak. But so far, what I can hear, you are saying that you want to encourage or ask for ways the Vice Chancellor and the team can encourage student angle. I heard that student angle to issues. Yeah,
all right.
on,
Yes. What I'm trying to say is that the angle of student, the way student we view things, should be put into consideration, very last consideration, because if anything is happening in the school, the students are directly affected. So my concern is that if something is happening and the student try to propose a solution to the problem, they should still look things from the angle of the student. Because as if I'm being affected by something and I reported, and some staff maybe from my faculty say that this thing is not right, like I'm lying, they will just, okay, since the staff they said so, I think the issue has been settled. But no, if you still view from the student part, like, let's see what is really happening from this student angle. Let's do things from this student angle, because university is seen as a citadel of learning and a platform where we can express ourselves. So please, what I want to say is that in the world of communication, communication is the passing of information and interpretation, understanding of that same information, and you reciprocate it. When the communication is being reciprocated, that means the information is being passed properly.
Thank you, Benjamin. Thank you very much. I think we get that now. Do we take it in twos? Would there be another person? Thank you. Thank you. I called you Benjamin, but it's actually Mr. Iyayi. You are sitting, yes, the next person.
There's another person. There's
Excellent.
Another person in line.
Excellent. We can take it in twos, please.
All right,
let's be succinct. Let's be succinct.
Okay, please, you have,
get the next person.
You have 1 minute.
Yes.
You have 1 minute to speak. Your name, please.
Okay.
All right, good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon, sir.
My name is Obina. My name is Obina Majoyi. Please permit me to stand on the existing protocol. I want to talk about the area, the see something, say something. The see something, say something have not been given adequate publicity.
Okay.
In fact, most students doesn't know about it, and sometimes those that knows about see something, say something, there is no contact made. This contact is not very well. It have not been made popular, have not been made known or available to the students. Sometimes when they see something, they start looking for contact to call. So I want to emphasize much on that see something, say something. I want to urge Madam Vice Chancellor and the team to please create adequate publicity in see something, say something, and also make the numbers available to the students. Thank you very much.
Thank you very, very much, Obina. At this point, do we want to respond to these first two? Madam Vice Chancellor, Dean of Students, PRO. We have the first person who talked about seeing things from the angle of the student. That was Mr. Iyamu. And then we have Obina telling us that, yes, see something, say something does exist, but there is no publicity to make the students know at the tip of their fingers that it is there, and also how to navigate getting see something, say something active.
Okay, I think this is more or less directed at me as a Vice Chancellor. So let me take the very first one. The student case that may be either against the staff, and it is good that the students are bringing this up at this time. What we often find is that when students complain about issues, and then you take it up from our own angle as management, because we have always emphasized to the students that, yes, primarily the reason why we're here actually is for the process of learning and teaching. But then if the students are also not here, you can't have a university. A university is actually to train. And so when such cases have come in, and I can give you an example, where we now take it on and you now say, look, we have to stop this. We have to create a scapegoat here so that it will deter others from doing that. Once you get to that level, the student backs out. I will give you an example, a quick one without calling names. Some student came here and said, oh, she was being harassed by X, Y, and Z, and came with the parents. And I said to them, look, all I demand from you, because I cannot use hearsay, can you write this on paper so that at least I can have something with me? I didn't see them. The student didn't come back to me, neither did the parents. I called, and the parents said, no, because we are not too sure that the student will not be victimized. I even went as far as saying to the parents that every course taken by that student that year, that the university is willing to bear the cost of sending those kids for other external members to come and mark, so that we know that the student is sure that whatever the student earns, the student gets. As I speak to you today, the students, the parents refuse to come. Even when I now went out of my way to urge them that we're willing to take this. So when students say yes, when they have problems, nobody listens to them. That is not true. And I can say that categorically, that this administration, we have said, and on several occasions, we have said we will not stay here and allow any of our students, because we are low-cost parental today students. So we have said that, but when you blow the whistle and you're not willing to follow up, then I am then liable to litigation, that I am witch hunting somebody because I probably don't like the person or whatever. So I think students on their own part must be bold enough to say, what I am saying is true, and therefore I will stand and follow this up. And I can assure you that this administration will give you full and 100% backing. With the second one of say something, see something, I am sure for the students who have used that, 24 hours will respond. I know for those who have used it will say that. And I think this has been publicized enough. The very first inaugural speech I gave as a vice chancellor was when this was initiated. We gave a number for WhatsApp. So if you cannot call, send WhatsApp. We also gave a number that can be used to call. And students are using it. And I also know that the PRO on her part, on several occasions, has actually put this up as update. So if students are saying they are not conversant or they don't know the number, I think they need to ask themselves that maybe they are not reading up, or people tend to forget. But be that as it may, I'm going to have another update set up again where these numbers will be publicized so that more students will have that. Because truly, like I said, it's an area where we need to have solution and final solutions to some of these problems. And we have said we will give them whatever protection. Once you are sure of what you're saying, we will investigate to the very last to be sure that everyone has equity in terms of judgment. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam Vice Chancellor. I don't want to take too much time, but I will just throw in something, a real life story, and maybe other people can speak as well. We all know the story of what happened in one of the Western schools in Nigeria, where a lecturer was harassing a student of Edo extraction. Now, I was privileged to be one of the Edo women who that child cried to outside the shores of Nigeria. Many people may not have known what happened, but prominent Edo women stood behind that child, paid the legal fees, and made sure that that case saw the light of day. However, there was something she did as well. She came to the realization that I must take on this responsibility. I must see to a logical conclusion. And she put fear aside and chose to walk the path. And that path was not easy. There were times when she was stoned on the streets. There were times when she was insulted by people and even threatened. But she stood her ground. And I must say that I have spoken to many female students of the University of Benin, and it is the same thing that I have encountered. When it is time for me to say, let's go and let's take this to the next level, their parents come in and say, oh, we are not sure our daughter can continue. And Omoyene Agbawanegbe has written in the chat, she said that the students often feel that they are not listened to, especially when their parents are nobody. And it has been well known that management has often supported lecturers. But I want to tell you today that in the full glare of the public, Madam Vice Chancellor has given a reiteration and given her word that she is not in that kind of league anymore, that herself and her new team are moving forward. And I want to also say here, Mr. President of the SUG, that when somebody comes out to say that they don't have the numbers for see it and say it, I almost want to, this is not a blame apportioning session, but I want to point something out to you as well. And that is that these are some of the responsibilities you owe your student body. The dissemination of this kind of information. It should be copious, if I'm using a medical term. So on this note, we'll move on to the next person or next two people, and then we can take answers as well. The Dean of Students, the PRO, and Father Omonohua would likely also take the answers to some of these next questions. So Benjamin, over to you. For information's sake, tell us how many students are in that hall?
All right, I have up to 20 of them.
Fantastic, and there are some online. Excellent. So next person. These are very good.
Please, come over.
Good afternoon, Madam Vice Chancellor.
Good afternoon.
I am Idemudia Henry. Yes, first of all, I would love to thank you for organizing this program, which is quite a dedicated one. Now, my question is this, and from recent happenings, it is quite clear that whenever it seems the SUG is trying to protect the rights of the student, the next line of action is suspension. So I would want to ask, because our dean said something about limits of the SUG. Yes, so I want to ask, what are the limits of the SUG so that we can avoid this suspension? Because for now, it is looking as if the SUG is always trying to fight the management, which is not what it's supposed to be. So we want to know, what are the limits of the SUG so as not to be clashing and be having this suspension every time?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Henry Demudia. Can we take the next person, please? Thank you, Henry. The Dean of Students, what are the limits of the SUG? You will be thinking about that while we get the next person on board, please. Are there actually any limits to the SUG?
Okay, my name is Tepo Evans from Faculty of Pharmacy. Starting already up to the yes, ma'am. From see something, say something. As regards to that. Many times I've heard from students who are always afraid of confidentiality and insecurity in the country, especially. Many students have something to say, but they are scared of saying it. So my question is, what are the universities doing to ensure confidentiality and security of these students after saying what they are saying? Because that is really a major issue in reviewing what they have seen so far.
Thank you very, very much, Mr. Evans from Pharmacy. The Dean of Students, we'll let you tackle this first, and perhaps we need to bring Father Omonohua in, because there is the ethics of confidentiality in being questioned here as well, and the protection of those who see something and say something.
Okay, thank you very much, Madam.
Thank you.
Like I said in my presentation, there is nothing like absolute power or absolute freedom. The Student Union Constitution specifically gives us our rights, privileges, and limits. If you look at that constitution, I've had opportunity of reading it over and over again, and it clearly states that the constitution is subject to the laws of Federal Republic of Nigeria and the laws or regulations of University of Benin. In other words, once there is a conflict between the students, there are provisions of what the Constitution expects us to do as students. If you read your Constitution, you will find out that, for example, the position of the president, your powers, everything you are expected to do is rightly stated there. I'll give you an illustration about when I talk about going beyond your limits. The Constitution of the SUG specifically states that the judiciary arm of SUG shall legislate or speak on only matters that affect between students and students, clearly. But the first update that arm released was that students should not pay school fees. That's clearly out of their boundary. That's clearly out of your mandate. So that's what I talk about. You need to study your Constitution very, very well. I am challenging every one of them. Go back, pick up a copy of the Student Union Constitution. Read it. What does it state before you begin to act out of it? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. Father Manahua, to buttress the point of our professor, the Dean of Students, do you want to look at the ethical angle of this see something, say something, and how those who say can be protected and their confidentiality maintained? Because some of us haven't schooled outside the shores of Nigeria, and I studied ethics for 18 months of my life. So we could comment on this, but we want you to readily give us some ideas, sir.
Well, I may not know what is going on exactly in UNIBEN, but from what I have seen in some tertiary institutions, like other universities, I know that students actually somehow are always victims, because I've had occasion to wanting to interrogate, because one of my cousins was asked to pay money for projects to be written for her. And he said, and of course, to get that money, we need to get the money from me. And I will need to find out why that money was asked. So I told him, well, who is the lecturer who is asking you? He said, Father, that means you don't want me to graduate.
Exactly.
Yeah, you don't want me to graduate. And I have had occasion to interrogate, ask some of my friends who are deans, HOD in the university, so that I will want to say that they are also accomplices. Sometimes they want lecturers to do this for them because they cannot do it for themselves. One of my cousins, late now, was asked to pay some money, and he came to me and said, no, you will not pay. This was in Auchi Polytechnic. So coincidentally, I was very close to the registrar. So I reported the case to this registrar. And the lecturer vowed that my sister will never graduate. But at the end of the day, she graduated, because now the case has been to the open, and I'm very sure that there is no vice chancellor of a university or a rector who will see all these abnormalities and will keep quiet. But then the truth is that many students don't want to speak out. They will see something, but they will not say something, either because they are afraid or because they don't want to, for some other reasons. But I think that in the spirit of dialogue, the student can, again, another big question is, can a student actually walk into the office of HOD or dean or vice chancellor to go and make complaint? Is there any process, a question I'm asking because it's long I left the university environment. Is it possible for a student to see something? And actually, your Vice Chancellor, please, you will answer me this. Can a student see something and actually walk to your office? Can he have access to you? Can a student reach you to whisper into your ear what he is seeing?
But before the Vice Chancellor takes this on, it is important that she cannot cater. You yourself said she cannot listen to all the students in the University of Benin. I think the Dean of Students and the PROO and all the other principal officers of the university are the people that would first be the first line blockade before they. I'm not trying to hold brief for her, but I'm trying to.
I'm not saying she's giving, but what if, I've stayed in the university environment, sister. Listen. What if the dean is a heavy block? Do you know why?
The dean is here. He should be speaking for himself. The dean and the PRO are here. Dean, are you a heavy block? Because I have heard, sir, that you are a heavy block. I'm sorry, I'm saying it now, but I have heard that you are a heavy block.
Can I say something?
Yes, Okomama will come to you, and this is why we are having these kind of engagements. This is why we are here, to interact and dialogue. Father Omonohua has raised a sore thumb that no other person apart from him could have raised, and that's why he's here today. And I'm glad that we have people like Austin Remira, Henry Okomama, who have been student union activists all their life in UNIBEN and have now left and are on the other side. Mr. Dean, sir, Dean of Students, I have heard from where I live and where I stay, I come to Benin quite often as well, that you are a bit high-handed. Is it true? Is it that the students are misunderstanding you? And please, Madam PRO, because see something, say something, it sort of now comes under the remit of the dean and yourself. Can people anonymously, someone is putting that in the group, can people anonymously say something? Someone is asking as well. Please. Father, thank you for raising this thought.
Well,
do I speak?
Can I respond?
Do I speak? Because my hand is up.
Yes, you can speak, ma, and then the PRO can take on before the Vice Chancellor, because I don't want us to start throwing everything at the Vice Chancellor. Thank you.
Exactly. Do I speak now?
Yes, ma. Yes, ma.
All right. Let me start from the see something, say something. Like Madam Vice Chancellor has rightly said, so many students use the platform. And in any case, Father, it's a telephone platform, WhatsApp and direct calls. The Vice Chancellor herself is the one who holds those telephones, 2 handsets, bearing 2 numbers. Now, my humble self and the Dean of Students were put by students themselves on their platforms. I was put on 2 platforms, 2 WhatsApp platforms. Through those platforms, I would read about their challenges. The students themselves, if they want to be honest, they will tell you that whenever I read about their challenges, I forward immediately to the Vice Chancellor. If they didn't have light for 2 hours, 3 hours, and they were distressed, they will complain about such on their platforms. And I read those things and I forward to the Vice Chancellor. Immediately, she takes action. There's a Pascal, I think one of the whole mayors. One day, he called that they didn't have light for about 2 hours. I sent the message immediately to the Vice Chancellor. The Vice Chancellor put the then Director of Works in motion. And shortly after that, they had light. The boy called me back and said, "Ma, does the VC sleep?" And I said, "How will the VC sleep when you are not sleeping?" And so we were, we were laughing. Yes, recently there was a breakdown. I had to exit the platforms, the students' platforms. I was provoked to exit because a lot of insults were coming in. But if they want to be fair to themselves, they will tell you that all the times that I read about their complaints, I forwarded, they even commended us on those platforms. Sometimes when I'm responding, I'm typing, they are reading and they are saying, "Oh, PRO is responding. We will get action very soon." Those were things that we have been doing. The
The Dean of Students too was on that platform. Usually we will share ideas. Sometimes he will take action by himself if there are actions that are within his capability. If there was anything that he couldn't do, he will forward to the Vice Chancellor. That's how we were reacting on that platform until the students themselves were querying one another why they should add staff members to their platforms, that they won't be able to talk about secret things that they wanted to talk about. And then they started insulting my person, insulting the person of professors and all that. And I told them, I don't want to belong here anymore. And I exited.
Madam, can I
Thank you
respond?
very much, ma. Yes, yes, our Dean of Students.
Yes, I need to respond. I have been in this school since 1989. I don't think we have had an administration that is as open as this current administration of Professor Ms. Lillian Salami. I stand to be corrected. The reason, before I became Dean of Students, I heard it was almost impossible to have access to the Dean of Students. But the student can tell you, there is no queue in my office. Any student is free to come in and to talk to me anytime, any day. When at the commencement of this section, we printed 10,000 leaflets, which we made every student to sign that they read, talking about the rules and guidelines of what students ought to know about. And my phone number, I use only one phone number. That same number is my call number. That same number is my WhatsApp number. So that anything, anytime, you can relate to me at any time. In the last 3 weeks, I have been working inside Hall 4, helping them to do sanitation. I moved from room for 3 weeks. I knocked on every student room. Some of them are here, they can tell you that. I knock and I wake them up. Wake up and sweep your room. So if I was hidden from the students, I think Hall 4, I went to Hall 4. I talked with them at the Valley of the Indecision. I went there to see things for myself firsthand. So if you cannot reach me in my office, which is open 24/7, I have taken the thing to, as late as 8 p.m. yesterday, I was in the halls of residence. So there is no secrets. Students are free and they have access to me 24/7. So
thank you very much, Professor. And I want to thank Madam PRO. Also, I want to thank Madam VC because it's a brave thing to have those numbers directly to you, because you're not worried that you'll be inundated by calls. However, I think what is beginning to play out now is that even on the student side, they are not propagating what is happening in some sectors of silos of management. And this is something that our student body, not just you now, Lotana, but those coming behind you, must take on board. It is not only when management has done something bad that you generate letters and communication. What the Dean of Students has just said is pertinent. What the PRO has said is pertinent. There was nothing that stopped us from saying novel ideas or novel action. Do you know that the PRO of UNIBEN is in WhatsApp group with UNIBEN students? There's nothing stopping the student body of UNIBEN from doing that and pushing it into circulation for even us, the alumni, to know. Because this is the first time I am knowing this, and this is the first time many people and even students who were not in that group are probably knowing this. We are blessed to have people like Austin Iremira and Henry Okodaso, as well as even Lamte Oriahi, who were student union activists and leaders in their day. Before we go back to the students, Austin and Henry, please, your hands have been up. And let's start from Henry Okodasu.
Thank you very much. Good day, everybody. Amiable Vice Chancellor, thank you very much. Your presence here, I mean, I'm very overwhelmed.
Thank you for joining us from TNT, by the way. Go on.
Yeah, no, from the Caribbean. Yes, definitely. Thank you, the Student Union the PRO of the university, and of course the Dean of Students. And everybody, thank you very much. So quickly, my experience, I will share quickly. I think I will consider myself as one of the most successful student union PRO. And that is information I want to pass to, first of all, the student union leaders that are here, and of course, the principal officers of the university that are here, including our mommy vice chancellor. To the leaders, student leaders, once you become a student leader, you are not for the university, you are not for the students. You are a go-between. You are a go-between the university, you are a go-between the students. Most student union leaders have problems because once they assume that position, they feel they are completely for the students. And because of that, part of their emotion is blinded to even the good work the university is doing. But when a student union take that position and say, okay, I am for the university, I am for the students, then that leader becomes more objective in carrying out its functions and knows the limitations and knows where its excesses begins. Union leaders in the past, even those that have good intentions, they usually fail because they are one-sided. In my time, I was not for now, I was not for the students. And I was a step ahead as PR of the student union, picking information, vital informations. So when the vice chancellor and the principal officers calls for a meeting, and I have a vital information, I will respectfully, underline, respectfully tell the vice chancellor that, sir, daddy, I have this information under authority from Abuja. This is this. And when the vice chancellor and the principal officer discover that some of the information coming from me, they are very true and authentic, we were able to strike a balance. So for our student union leaders that are here, please have that mindset that you are not for the students, you are not for the authority. You are a bridge. And once you are able to do that, you have a successful tenure. Secondly, information, the university should be able to organize a special, I underline that word, special orientation program for any elected officers. Because you can say there is constitution, it is who is reading? When you have thousands of students clogging around you once they know that you are a leader, so you are battling between your academic studies, then you want to spend time to read some other things that you think is not important. No. So your special orientation program for ex-studio leaders should be tailored that even if it's for 1 week, they don't have their aides, they don't have anybody with them, professionals should be brought to speak to them on their limitations and their excesses. I think if that is done, that might help, or would definitely help. For the union leaders, the office of the PRO of the student union is also very important. A situation where they don't have means of communication, the PRO said does not even know what to do, that's a big issue. So universities should be ready to provide special funds for students. UNIBEN Parrot was my brainchild. I brought UNIBEN Parrot. The essence of that UNIBEN Parrot was to inform both the authority and the students. So the activities of the university is channeled, it's passed on to the student. And whatever the student is doing, the university is seeing. So a copy of each publication is dropped in the VC office or the principal office, everybody, including the library.
Thank you very much, Henry. Thank you. I know you are very best on this.
Finally,
Henry,
let me just in terms of yes, something says something. Loretta, sorry, I know I'm taking a little more time, but in terms of yes, something says something, the VC is too busy. The PRO is busy. The Dean of Students is busy. We are not talking about 2,000 students. We're not talking about 8,000 students. We're talking about close to 70,000 students, plus a morning session and afternoon session. That's usually I call it, part-time and all the other stuff. So what I would suggest is, for yes, something says something, the university can constitute our spiritual fathers. We have Reverend Fathers, we have in the Catholic Church, we have Anglican, We have other spiritual fathers that nobody knows where they are going. If you see a student walking to the Reverend Father's office, he's going to give confession. So he goes there, pass information to the Reverend Fathers or to the committees. Okay? So people can go to Unsent, so people can walk into this thing and pass this information to the Reverend Fathers. And then there's a strong channel between the Vice Chancellor, the principal officers of the university, together with these clergymen, and they will take it off from there.
Thank you very much. Point taken. Point taken.
And the PRO for that channel. Please, PRO, don't leave the channel. You could, as a matter of this program, use another name. Don't use PRO, use another name to join that WhatsApp group and see
Thank
what.
you very much, Henry.
Thank you.
Henry, thank you. Point taken. You are embezzling the time of other people, but the point is taken and noted. And I think you have made very serious points. Before we get the next person, I want to read one of the chats. I'm Comrade Imafido Imadeyogie, NANS Director of Sports, Postgraduate Student, University of Benin. My contribution is that management should match words with action. And then they should make sure that as regards students being critical stakeholders in decision-making process, this is where the students and the management conflict starts. I think he's trying to say that the management should always do what they say. But then we have people like Pascal who are saying that the Dean of Students is right. All the things he has been doing, he said he's been doing, have been going on. The former mayor of Hall 4, confirmed Comrade Asibo, has also put that in the group. And there are a lot of comments buttressing what the PRO has also said. Austin, if you want to say something before the next commentator, and then we'll go back to the students. I like the fact that everybody on this chat is confirming what the Dean of Students has said he has been doing in Hall 4. Almost everybody here. Austin Iremira is current Secretary General of the University of Benin Alumni.
Thank you so much, my sister.
You are echoing. Pharmacist Iremira, you are echoing.
Thank you very much, my sister. I'm enjoying this. Okay, can you hear me now?
You are echoing.
Now?
It's better now, yes.
Am I better now? Probably I'll talk later.
Okay, then we'll have to bypass you. Father Omonekwa, you put your hands up. You said point of order. Did you want to say something before we go back to the students? You are muted, sir. We should be looking at rounding up. You are muted, sir.
Yeah, I was saying that we should look for the ideal of what can help, not even beyond even UNIBEN. So it's not a question of the dean is being accused. When we say the dean is a block, for example, we don't mean the dean of this particular university. So I think that we should bring out a kind of objective solutions that can help the relationship between students and the lecturers, not to defend ourselves to say, this is what I do, this one. What if after you, another dean comes and becomes what you are not?
Thank you, sir. Thank you. And I like what you just said, that beyond UNIBEN. And before we go back to the students, I want to just say something here. Madam Vice Chancellor, I want to thank you for what you said. And the student body, I want to also thank you for participating. But I want to say something. The first time I came into England, I was having a cultural shock. And the reason was because it was all about communication, communication, communication. Nobody, Tony Osakbama, Dr. Tony is here, he's a lecturer. Nobody cared about my knowledge base as a doctor. Nobody wanted to know the stuff I knew. All they were interested in is how well can I simplify this and how well can I pass this information without one, appearing aggressive, appearing rude, and saying very difficult things, no matter how difficult, but making them palatable. It took me years to learn that. And I want to thank Henry. You have said something today that we need orientation programs for those who come in to lead the SUG. And it's true. I was fortunate to have a father who taught me to communicate. But despite that, he gave me talking room. Culturally, children in our African societies are not often given the chance to express themselves. And then you find yourself in institutions, you don't know how to speak to authority. And then you find yourself abroad, thank you, Father, beyond UNIBEN. And this is where most of us fail. We don't fail even outside the country because we don't have stuff. We have stuff. We fail because we do not know how to communicate, and we have to learn all over again. Inyemi Adam Saliu, thank you for joining on. So we as University of Benin, I will speak to my ESCO and we'll get back to Madam Vice Chancellor. I think we can take on the training of these new SUG members. I think that is something we can do because we are blessed, we have resources, we have people who can do that. A week-long training, maybe every evening online, once they have been elected, is something, Mr. Dean of Students, Professor Patrick Igbinadua, this is something that we can do, but I still have to get back to my ESCO. We'll have to fine-tune it and get back to you, the PRO, and Madam Vice Chancellor. So if we have the next student on board to ask us a question, and this is why we're having these things, because some things become clearer to me when I'm in these kind of sessions. And we should be aiming, I think we'll pardon ourselves after the next 2 or 3 questions from the students. We've spent a lot of time, we should be aiming to round up.
Dr. Loretta,
Ma,
please just allow me make a comment.
Yes, ma, please do. Please.
Just again to tell you how much the ESCO of Student Union has succeeded in disseminating information. It's so shocking that you would hear a student say that right now there is the fear of suspension. It is so disheartening. It is uncalled for because administration didn't come from the streets. We all were one-time students. We also were at this age. I'm 65. I was one time 10, 15. You don't get, first of all, you give, as ESCO, you give your students the right information. Nobody woke up and said the right thing to do was to suspend students. The same student we were fighting for turned to stab us, and that was what happened. And so I thought by now, for a student to still have the belief that when we talk, the fear of suspension, there is no mad person here. I think we are reasonable enough. Before you become a professor, you go through the hops. And so it is not a situation of somebody will just sit down and suspend you. And the same person who has that obviously has not been properly informed. And I think it is the responsibility of the president of the student union to go back and inform the student what led to the suspension. Otherwise, it's going to, but I must also say, with no apologies, if you cross the line, you would pay the price. And I hope we never do that again. But I think we should be educated because otherwise a student wouldn't come to say the fear of suspension. If you do what is right, nobody talks to you. If you don't, then you get what it demands. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam Vice Chancellor. These are some of the communication skills that we will need to impart. There are ways that things can be said that make them a lot more palatable. But also, I want us to not shoot any messengers here, but rather to take the messages on board. And Madam VC has expressed the fact that she's not suspending anybody willy-nilly or any associations willy-nilly. For those who may not know, many of us waded into that incident between the vice chancellor and the students, or between the administration. It's not the vice chancellor. Let's not see it as her and the students. And let's be honest, every party has learned a new lesson. And moving forward, that's some of the reasons we are here. So, Mr. President of the SUG, do you have students lined up to speak? The Dean of Students rushes down sometimes till 10 p.m. This is Pascal Ejiaka to everyone. And our PRO has said that at a time, the SUG president said, Madam, I'm sorry to bother you. And she said, I'm here to be bothered. So these are really, really good comments here. Are you ready, Benjamin? Is there someone there who wants to ask a question?
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay.
Come on. I have a student who wants to ask questions.
Go on. We'll take two more. Let the person come forward.
Good afternoon, Madam Vice Chancellor.
Good afternoon, sir. What's your name, sir?
Good afternoon, everybody, distinguished members of this meeting. My name is Elogosa. Still on the existing protocol. Please, I want to ask the security apparatus of this school, UNIBEN. Over the time, we have, like for instance, it's just an observation, and at the same time a question. The insecurity in the school, somehow it has taken to another dimension. I would not say whether it has reduced or it has increased, but lately we have seen some developments around the hostel, and the gates have been shut. The hostel entrance is being blocked in the evenings. So please want to understand, I would like to ask what exactly is playing, what these developments will have to come to play, and how can we, if it is for the better, of course to be for the better, how can we also come in to make sure and help and seek, because I believe this is for our safety. So, all right, what is our role to play? Because I'm doing all these things and we have not heard any information. So please, I would like to ask in that regard.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Elogosa, Mr. Elogosa. Am I right? Thank you. Can we have the next person?
Okay, the next person is coming over. Just in a second, please come over. Say your name and that's it.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
My name is Mefivo from Arts.
What's your name, please?
So, this question is directed to the Dean. I want to find out when the next exhibition election. Okay, my name is Ibe Chukwuka Favor.
Thank you.
Okay. This question is directed to the Dean of Students. I want to find out when the next XUG election is going to hold, because right now little or nothing has been said concerning the next elections, and most aspirants are just campaigning without the view of when the next election is going to hold. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Before these two questions are taken, there's somebody in the house who is key. Yes, Mr. President. I wanted us to hear
one more question from the student. Maybe this will be enough.
Okay, so we can take that question from the student and also take the one from Charles Ide, the former SUG president. So let's take this one. Let's take this, Benjamin. Let's take the next person. The Dean of Students, I'm sure you noted that question. And the one before it, the student, Elogosa, wanted to find out what was happening with respect to insecurity or security and how the students can key in. And Ibe was saying, when is the next SUG election? We have a third person. Tell us your name, sir.
Okay, my name is Itepu Evans from Faculty of Pharmacy. standing already on that protocol. I discovered something that have brought great concern to me in person and some other students. I really appreciate the Vice Chancellor for the new gates that have been created for students. I feel one of the reasons for that is to prevent randomness in the main gates. But some of the things that we do experience are when we are taking bus from maybe Ring Road or from First, we normally hear the driver saying, if you are stopping at main gate, we'll collect 150 from you. But if you are going to the small gate, we'll take 200 from you. And that's an extortion from the students. We want to know what the body doing over this to ensure that the driver take the same money which have been taken before from the main gate and at the same time for the small gate, because the distance is not that much. But because you are not stopping or we don't stop at main gate, they now need to add 15 hour charges to the money, and that have given the student a very great concern because we cannot check from that main gate to the small gate just because of 15 hour difference. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I'm sure Madam Vice Chancellor is taking a note of that. Chelsea Dehen, do you want to speak now? Please unmute yourself. And thank you for joining in.
Thank you very much, Madam Loretta. And thank you, the Vice Chancellor, for all the people to observe. My concern is pertaining the work study program that helps students in financing their education. And recently, that this study program has actually gone down the drain. So my question now is a plan or a future plan for revitalizing this work, because I know
Thank you, Charles. Thank you. Your network is not good, but I could pick what you were saying. You are asking about the work study program and what has happened to it. You think it's a good way of revitalizing students and helping with their finances. And if someone could please talk on that. Am I right? Excellent. Thank you. The floor is excellent.
I'm going to wait, but I'm going to exit you.
The Dean of Students want to go first. There were some specific questions for you, and perhaps the PRO and the Vice Chancellor can then go next. There's a question of when is the...
I think because I have to go for another meeting, I thought we'll be closing. So let me quickly throw light into those three and then they will expand. First of all, let me start from the last. When this administration came on board, the work study had died naturally. And so we just revived it now. And I think we have over 20 students that are employed in one place or the other. What we're trying to do is how to galvanize and have some seed money so that at least we can pay some of these students and I think the director of that unit now has even gone beyond the shores of the university, asking for persons who could sponsor 1 or 2 persons on a monthly basis for maybe very well now that students are beginning that program that was either too dead, it's now being resuscitated. That is one. The second one that I want to probably discuss also is the case of extortion for the fair. This is the very first time I'm hearing about it, and I'm going to do a letter to the local governments that are concerned. That you cannot, because we said we want to make the gates to look like a citadel of learning and not a Mami market or bus stop, doesn't then mean that the students should be extorted. And I really bleed internally for that you would take 50 naira. So in that case, we may actually, in fact, I'm going to write to the authorities concerned to address that. Now, in terms of insecurity, and I think the students should know, that the university is not totally isolated from what is happening outside the walls of the university. We have tried as much as possible, and I don't need to tell everything we have put in place. This is the one administration that has doubled, not only using external, which we think will bring objectivity and sense of responsibility to the system. We have also beefed up even our internal ones. We have a good relationship with the external, security outfits. And so we are doing everything possible. And I think the president can attest to the fact that anytime they also must take on the responsibility of policing the place. It is not always possible that every nook and cranny of this university is covered, because we are dealing with, individuals that may not actually see their back. But the students can also play a major role in alerting. And once they have done that, and I think they can attest to that, and I'm sure the president can, immediately we get that, we send in external members to campus immediately. And I don't think it takes 10 minutes before they respond here. So I think if the Dean of Students and, his team chooses that students shouldn't be loitering around at certain times, again, like I said, it's a reflection of the total security outfit of the nation. Universities, as I speak to you, committees are being set up where we now play the role of, let's try to play the devil's advocates. Assuming what is happening in other places happened to University of Benin, we have tried to put in place the first point of call. What do we do? What is the next action? We are doing all of that to protect our students and protect ourselves. And I think we're pretty much trying as much as possible to rewrite the history of this university. And I think rather than just what you said, we always say the only bad parts. Let us sometimes look at where we have come from, where we are today, and where we are likely getting to. Thank you very much, because I need to run. I have a meeting that has been hanging on.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Madam Vice Chancellor. Thank you very, very much. The Dean of Students, the PRO can respond, and the president of the SCG can give a vote of thanks, and any other person who wants to comment. We thank you, Ma. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Professor Monova, we also thank you for your time. You have given us national time. We are thanking you as well. Dean of Students, please, do you want to?
Okay, let me just respond briefly. Madam Vice Chancellor has already responded to some of the issues that were raised. The students themselves also know that we have worked together to make sure that things are where they are today. Most of the decisions that they have seen, especially in the halls of residence, were not just taken by the Dean of Students. They were all a collective decisions of all the hall mayors and mayoresses. From time to time, we hold meetings and we look at how best it is, things we can do to make sure that the place is safe for every one of us. The idea of, we shut down the hostel by 10 p.m. In other words, wherever you are, if you are outside, stay wherever you are outside. But if you are inside, within the hostel environment, you should be able to enter into your hostel, not loitering around when it's past 10. And this, like as Madam Vice Chancellor said, is a reflection of the society that we have found ourselves. It's not what we wanted, but that's where we are as a nation today. For us, we also realized recently, the Speaker of the House came and told me, and we discussed, had a discussion, the way people, they driving, some boys just come in convoys of cars. If the students, they can tell you, they just drive down, and some persons, including staff, have been knocked down by some of these vehicles because of the speed which they drive into the halls of residence. And just about a week ago, we said, okay, what do we do? If any student is knocked down, we want to prevent issues, not reacting to issues. So we said, okay, any person coming in, stop at the entrance gate, just by the gate, rather than allowing them to drive, especially between hall 1 and hall 3. They turned it into a racing circus, a racing track. And we said, okay, let every person stop at that gate and you walk in. And if you have visitors that you want to see, they can also go and see them. So those are decisions that we have taken for the best interest of these students. So the last comment was SUG election.
Dorcas.
The person who asked the question knows that currently forms are out for electoral committee, and that's the beginning of the process. And if of elections in the university as enshrined in their constitution, I think you can read section 31, specifically tells you, section 31 of the SUG constitution tells you the step-by-step approach, the method you will use, electing student union executive, all the processes are outlined there. And the beginning of that process is setting up of the electoral committee. And that's where we are currently. Forms are already out, and interested aspirants are already collecting forms. So we have begun the process and we'll go through with it in line with the student union constitution.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. Lotana, I know we had Iremiran who was supposed to speak. I don't know if his internet is working now. Lamte Oriahi and our alumni liaison, Dr. Obeki may just want to chip in a word before Lotana and Constantos Seki sort of round up. We really thank Professor Omonohua, Madam Vice Chancellor, Professor Igbinadua, Dr. Ehanire, and importantly, all the students in the hall. Without students, there is no University of Benin. That's the truth. So, Austin, if you are with us, you may chip in a word. If you are not there, Dr.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yes, you are better a bit. Go on.
He's muted.
Have you muted yourself? Pharmacist Iremiran. If you are muted and your internet, are you sure you are still in London? The way your internet is working is like you are in.
I don't understand, but I'm very, very sad myself. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. I stand on existing protocol. I've thoroughly enjoyed myself and it has brought me lots of nostalgia. But just two things I found lacking. I think communication and dialogue remains the key, and I think administration should do that. And SUV as well, you need to do that as well. Just what my friend Dr. Henry Kumama explained. And there is one question that somebody asked from the SUV, which I reacted very, very surprisingly to. I don't know, Loretta did not read that. How come buses are charging 150 and 200 pounds or 200 naira, and somebody is asking Madam Vice Chancellor to do that? What is the role of the SUG? You should be in the forefront of getting there because your students are the ones that are suffering. So please, SUG, I say wake up, like Erin said, you are a go-between. You are standing for the betterment of the entire university, admin, and the student inclusive. Lots to say, but I don't want to belabor us and waste our time. I think what Loretta suggested is good. The UK branch will think of a better way of supporting the students to make them really, really noble for their service. I greet my Professor Patrick Igbinadua. Thank you so much, and for every other person, and even our Reverend Father, Father Monokwa. I remember your altar boy in the days of Benin. God bless you all.
Thank you very much.
Loretta, please let me chip in this point.
Yes, ma'am. Please go on, ma'am.
Yes, I want to say this as a word of admonition to the incoming executive, student union executive. They should be mindful of peer pressure influence. In all sincerity, Benjamin Egu, the outgoing president or the current president, started very well in terms of communicating with management. But I believe that pressure from his mates, because as I said, I was on their platforms, Egu would communicate anything that he wanted to do through me sometimes to Madam Vice Chancellor. He would discuss with me. We will discuss. I will advise him. Sometimes he will take to the advice. At other times, he has his own views, which are very well in order. But the idea of confronting management, I believe, began to rear its head when Egu began to be pressurized by his mates. You will often read on their platforms, hey, Egu has taken money from management, oh, he's now a boy to them. He's now this, he's now that. And the boy began to behave, in ways that were even shocking to me. I had to call him. I said, Mr. Benjamin, do not succumb to pressure. I said, people come from different backgrounds. I look at you, and in all honesty, I viewed Egu as somebody who had some good breeding from the way he behaved. He had some good breeding. So, but the moment he began to be pressurized, I felt sorry for him at some points because he began to yield to those pressures. And at the end, management began to see him as somebody who was confrontational. He did not start that way. His mates pressurized him to begin to take certain actions. Let me give you another example. These students see the vice chancellor and they say, oh, mommy. They see me, I'm a mother, I have 2 adults. My youngest child is 29 years old. They see me and they say, mommy. Their mates insult them. Are they your mothers? Why are you calling them mommy? Why are you calling them? So those are some of the things that some of their mates do to them. And I do not think that they should succumb to those pressures. Whether you like it or not, we are adults. We are old enough to be their mothers. So if they call us mommy or mother, there is nothing wrong with it. If your mate laughs at you, why are you calling? Remind the person, oh, this person is old enough to be my mother. The vice chancellor is old enough to be their grandmother. So if they call her mother, there is nothing wrong with it. It is nothing to be ashamed of. So they should stand their ground. If they feel that somebody is acting as a mother to them, they should be free to express such emotions. Thank you, Dr. Loretta. This has been very wonderful.
Thank you very much, Madam Piaro. I must comment on the fact that you are very quick to respond to things. I send you one message and within minutes you respond. And the last comment you made is very, very significant. So significant that I think it is the fulcrum on which everything rests. As a leader, you are accountable to your followers and you have to negotiate with those in power. But a time comes when you get to a crossroad and you must master the skills of negotiation. And Benjamin Egu, there was something I told you. I told you that there are assets, there are pathways that you must assess when things come to a headway. You have all these opportunities and you should pass them on to the next person. I also blame a man like Charles Idehen. Charles Idehen left that place as student union president and never gave your contacts or embedded in your brain the need to continue to liaise with people like us. This is a non-blame section, but at the same time, we must say things as they are. You had run into a lot of deep waters before you came back home. Constant Oseki, who is here, can easily talk to Professor Igbinadua on your behalf on anything. Dr. Stephen Obeki, the tools are there. Now it behoves you, Benjamin Egu, to see to a logical conclusion the incoming ESCO. Your job doesn't end when you hand over.
Dr. Loretta, please, let me just, can I join my voice?
Something, Henry, but Tony Osakbawa and Lamte Oria, he also need to speak, Henry, and you have spoken before. I'm sorry. We have Inye
no problem.
And Stephen Obeki needs to also speak. Please, forgive me.
No problem.
Tony, please.
Yeah, thank you. I think I don't really have anything to say than just to thank everybody. The spirit of this meeting has been very cordial. It's been very engaging. I've seen some of my secondary school old boys as well. I'll be making some contact with a few of them. I never knew they were still in the academic setup. So good to see people from my educational constituency. God bless you all.
Bless you, sir. Lamte.
Yes, first I want to thank everybody who's been part of this process. I want to thank the school authorities and of course to you, Loretta, and the UK alumni branch. I think this is very wonderful. However, I'd like to observe that just like Austin said, there is a need to strengthen communication between the authorities and of course the students. And probably one of the ways we could do that is to have representatives, not just from the faculty level, from every classroom. Probably we're in the age of technology right now. WhatsApp, Facebook, and the social media, and they are doing wonders, helping to promote a lot of things. With this communication channel, we can actually have a WhatsApp group where some members of the authorities are, and we have every class rep to be part of that WhatsApp group. That could be a good channel, of a communication, because if the students don't have confidence in their teachers to express some things, or the authorities, they could have confidence in their fellow students who's probably a rep in their class and in that WhatsApp group, and they know that when we reach this rep can take our course to the group, and of course, some of these things can be bridged and to the advancement of the school. But having said that, I think we are on a very good course to achieving a better University of Benin, relationship between students and the authorities. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And you are the man we owe all the technical expertise to this afternoon for hosting this program. Adams Ali will go, and then the SUG president will go, and Dr. Becky will speak. I don't know if Father Omonohwa is still in the house, if he has a last word. But I really, really love what the PRO said a while ago. It's key. In leadership, we must strike that balance. So if Father is not there, Inye Adams Ali, you can go on. Sorry, it should be Obeigi, forgive me. You are muted, ma. You are muted. We can't hear you. Take off the earphones, just speak straight into your phone. It's not working. My hear me, Nuta.
She's still muted.
Okay, if she's still muted, do we take Benjamin then? Benjamin, president of the SUG, sir.
All right. Thank you very much, everyone. Mine is
We'll come back to you, Inye. Let Benjamin go. Yeah.
Mine is an appreciation to every one of us who deem it necessary to be here. By the grace of God, I'm learning. In fact, I keep learning every day, not just from the classroom. We learn every day, and I learned so much today. I want to appreciate from the Vice Chancellor, the University PRO, the Dean of Students, the President, UK branch, everybody that put in resources to this effect. I want to say thank you, and I will promise the next administration will be very much better than mine. I will do everything within my powers for them not to make the same mistake that I made. I will create time for them, and I will be available for them to guide and lead them. Thank you very much, and God bless you.
Your talk is very humbling. I find that very humbling. We are all work in progress. We are all lifelong learners. And honestly, the man who spoke is different from the man I spoke to many months ago. Well done. Who is the professor still around?
Which professor?
If he's not, Inye, are you unmuted now? Oh,
yes, I think so. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, thank you. Good morning, good afternoon. This is the first time I'm coming across this, because somehow whenever I check Loretta's WhatsApp, what is there has passed. I logged on and it has started. The way I just gave everybody my office space. That please, this is my school meeting, serious business. So I'm happy. I have listened. Just 2 points I want to make. Austin, I can't believe I'm saying it for the first time in almost 20 years. God bless you, stay well. 2 points I want to make.
Please, before you go on, if you are not speaking, please kindly be civil and mute your microphone. Someone's mic is on. Go on.
Okay, so 2 points I want to make. It gladdens our hearts. Not all of us are as active as Loretta that will set up a Zoom with Mr. Lamptey and all those of you who do this normally. But it does not mean we do not care about UNIBEN. It is as life is happening to us, we are not sharing the time. So it gladdens our hearts to come and we see senior staff, principal officers of the university, not only participating, but we see comments like, we read comments like the Dean of Student Affairs making himself available at odd hours for the students. And I like something he said, that when they had I don't know if it's an accident or it was an incident, but for very sensible and logical reasons, they decided that, okay, cars should not move between the halls of residence. We are happy when we see the school management doing this, and some of us want to let you know. In fact, I believe every alumni actually appreciates your efforts. Yes, it may seem these children, we must remember that students are kids. We did not agree that time, but later we saw we were. Please remember that some of them are just young. They do not appreciate the care and concern, and they do not even fully understand the extent of it. It is when they come out to life that they will realize that within this environment, I meant something. People will be on the lookout for me. So please, when they do the things maybe they shouldn't do, correct them like, the young adults they are becoming. They will grow with age and they will look back. And our hope, that's why we are here, is that when they look back, they too will come and do this in their own generation. They will hold this kind of meetings. They will contribute their quota, because they'll say that those people were doing a lot for us and we did not appreciate it. So thank you very much, and well done, and well done. As for the students, hello, Benjamin, Egu, and your pals, can you hear me? Are you paying attention? Let me tell you something. My brother went for... please listen very well. Call all your friends. Come and listen. Well, Austin, right? Tattoo has always been in politics right from secondary school. My brother too, who is a UNIBEN graduate, was in politics. There is something that some of these people say when they left school. They said that if they had known that life is the way it is, they would have paid a bit more attention to their studies. Austin, am I lying? You see, this your students' union government you are doing. You are able to get into government because, first of all, you are a student. Abi, if you be selling at Ring Road, I'm not sure you'll be eligible at any point in time. So please, even if we know that the Nigerian job market is not the best place with a first class, forget about Nigeria. You don't know where God will take you tomorrow. Remember, you are first of all a student before you are part of a student union government. Please, students, study, 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 study. You will be glad you did. My first job I got when I left UNIBEN, in fact, I got 3 job offers. A test was done across 5 states. I was the only person that passed. Study. I studied for that job more than I studied the UNIBEN. I'm ashamed to say this. But I just remember the way when people want to read in a mad manner, that 500 LT, you block your ears, put on your stockings, I read like mad. You don't know what your future holds. Please cooperate with your future. This student unionism you are doing, in 10 years' time, I'm not even sure you'll be doing it. Yes, 1 or 2 people like Mikey Guinea is a resident electoral commissioner now. Whenever we see him, we remember those Aluta days. But please, the way this life is, your destiny is in your hands to a good extent. Study, and be serious students. It's not about government.
Thank you very much, madam. Study. Thank you. So that's probably, I cannot see the professor in the house, Professor Monofwa. Lamte, am I right? If you take a second look, I know he's a very busy man. Yes. He was magnanimous to give us. So if we let our alumni liaison have the final word, and Constant, you give the vote of thanks, that would be great. Thank you very much. And just to add that we are going to generate, Mr. Dean of Students, sir, and the PRO and Madam Vice Chancellor, we will generate action points from this meeting, which we will pass on to you. You will have a read of it, and then we can discuss it with the students as well. And then we can put motion into place in how we can get interventions done, sir. Thank you very, very much.
Okay.
All right. Yes.
Yes. Okay. Thank you very much. First and foremost, I want to appreciate President Loretta Ogboro-Okor for this initiative, and also appreciate the UK branch of the Alumni Association. This is actually one of the great contributions by the alumni body to the growth and development of the University of Benin, and we sincerely appreciate it. Again, the symposium has achieved its purpose in 2021, and I know it will continue in 2022 and even forever, because it can be very, very instrumental to the objectives of engagement between the students and the university. I also want to thank all the discussants that were present here today, right from Professor Mokwa, Patrick Gunadua, Professor, and Dr. Benita Ehanire, for all that they have spoken upon. I think everybody has something to take home from what we discussed today. And especially Madam Vice Chancellor, Professor Lilian Salami, can also be magnanimous and has spoken well on this occasion. From my own experience and point of view, I can tell you that this administration, since I've been in UNIBEN, I think since 1985, have been, if not the best administration that takes interest of the students at heart. And she has been doing a lot as a mother, as a sister, as everything to ensure that the students have a good stay in the university. The only thing is for the student to take opportunity of the windows of communication that are available to them. And that's exactly what they need to do. They are free to contact anybody. I see them in the Dean of Students office. I see them in PRO's office. And they have all the opportunities to do and to say and to express their minds on any issue that is bothering them. And I think they will take from this engagement, they will do that. And the university will be better for every one of us. Thank you, President Loretta Ogboro. Thank you, all the discussants. Thank you, Madam Vice Chancellor. And thank you, all the participants at this occasion. May God bless you all. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Constant Oseki, please.
Yeah.
Thank you very much,
Thank
our
you.
able
Thank you,
allies.
Dr. Becky.
Yes. Thank you very much.
This meeting could not have happened
Thank you,
without
Dr.
you, sir.
Becky.
Digwo.
Really do, my dear. God bless you.
So we appreciate Madam Vice Chancellor, University of Benin, Professor Lilian Salami, for endorsing this program. It has been really good, and we are happy that we are having it. And to our discussants, most especially Reverend Father Monohua, thank you very much for your time. And our able Dean, thank you very much, Professor Patrick. And Dr. Ehanire, thank you very much, ma. It was short notice, but thank you very much for participating. And our very own students, I thank you guys very much. Don't worry, we will always see. And I know the next
Thank you, sir.
will be better. And I commend you all for availing yourselves the opportunity to learn and relearn. You know, so I know we all have learned one or two things this evening. You know, by God's grace, by next year we'll be reconvening, and everything will be a lot better. Then the communications would have improved, and hopefully by then we won't have much back and forth. Thank you, everyone. And to my amiable UK branch family, I thank you for your support. I thank you for doing this. We are getting there. Thank God. We still have more time to improve on more things we need to do for University of Benin. And to our alumni worldwide that participated, thank you very much, and God bless you all. University of Benin is already the greatest. It is UNIBEN and the rest as we know it, and by God's grace, we will get a lot better. Thank you very much. God bless. Thank you.
Madam President, just before we go, I think the Vice Chancellor was asking that we enumerate the scholarship award that we are giving to our students this year.
That's true. That's true.
She did mention that if we are welcome to the program.
Yes, and I can just say the name now. I think the Dean of Students already has the memo, but the names of these people are here with me. That is very true. There is the man, Benson Innocent Edobo, of the Department of Political Sciences, emerged as the best 300 level graduating student in 2018-2019 academic session with a GPA of 4.89. So he's getting the scholarship from UBOC London chapter for the best in the Faculty of Social Sciences. And then there is the personal one. This one is actually very dear to my heart as well. The University of Benin Alumni Association, United Kingdom branch, award of scholarship to the best 100 level law student. And this is, the person's name is Happiness. Oh, it's a lady, I'm impressed. Ohune Momo. So she has a GPA of 4.79. Fantastic. And Douglas Ogbebo himself, in capacity as branch chair, is also giving scholarship to chemistry students. So, I mean, this is just, it's blown my mind over. I did mention it in my opening speech. So when VC talked about it again, I just thought maybe she didn't maybe have that speech. But Mr. Dean, sir, we really thank you. And thank you for your patience for staying this long. It shows you're a true dean of students. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Madam Vice Chancellor. And thanks to the UK alumni. We look forward to working with you to having a stronger union.
There is a question that kept coming in the house. For those of us here now, a question that kept coming in the house is about transcripts. Transcripts. It's something I'll possibly have to personally take up with the Dean of Students and Madam Vice Chancellor at a later date. But I'm just seeing it now because I wasn't looking at my phone. Thank you. Yes. Lamte, play our school anthem. I love that song.
I think everybody should rise up. Everybody should stand up for the anthem. Okay, first time we are sitting down.
Greatest UNIBEN.
Greatest
UNIBEN.
National anthem, bro. National anthem.
I'm blessed. We are sure.
National anthem, bro.
Thank you very much.